Hi, I'm Natasha Ward, and I'm from Western Wisconsin Health. I'm here today with our family medicine provider, Dr. Russell Roloff, and we're talking about how technology affects kids. So just to start off, Dr. Roloff, can you tell us how long you've been practicing medicine and kind of what you've seen with technology and how it influences kids and kind of the concerns that parents have too?
Sure. Yeah, I started practicing in 2007. I was talking about earlier about when I started college, internet and computers in a room were kind of strange, and a couple years later, everybody had internet in their room. I didn't get my first cell phone until I've been practicing about 3 or 4 years out. So definitely a huge change now where everybody has cell phones and technology, let alone kids having it as well. And seeing the changes over time, we're seeing a lot more kids that are constantly on their phones, hard time interacting with others. I think it really impacts the ability to talk face to face, to get along with people in person. And also there was a report that came out recently from the U.S. Surgeon General talking about the link between technology use and how it affects sleep, but also how it affects anxiety, depression, suicide rates. We saw a huge increase over the last couple of years, and they've actually been able to link that with some technology use among kids. So it is a very important topic, and I also sometimes will tell patients that this wasn't a big deal to me 10 years ago when my kids were very little, but as they've gotten older and I've seen them deal with this, and as a parent, I have to deal with my kids navigating the world of online apps and Facebook and texting up all night, that kind of thing, how to use phones well and safely. It's really become more of an issue that I care more about, me and my wife, and something we really kind of have looked more into and learned about.
So what are your kind of main tips that you give parents when they're asking about this?
A big thing I'll talk about when I talk to parents about this is, first of all, just let them know that this is something that can affect their child's health. Whether it's sleep issues which can affect performance in school, whether it affects their mood, like I mentioned, anxiety, depression issues, and then just try to give them some resources to be aware of what the issue is, and then also give them some ideas that this is not necessarily a do this, don't do that, but more of a how can I as a parent or as a relative or as somebody who's a trusted caregiver by the child, be a resource that they can come and trust and talk to. Some of the resources we've worked with are really focused on building digital trust, which isn't, again, not so much of a parent being a police officer, but a parent being the person that knows what's going on, that can answer the questions, and be the place that if they see something they don't want to see or don't know what to do with it, they can come and talk to about it. So that's what we would try to focus on is how do I help parents be that resource to the kids as well as they're caring for.
Yeah, that's great advice. What resources do you normally recommend for parents to look at?
There's a couple. One that we use is if you're going to watch a movie or look up a game with a kid, there's something called Common Sense Media. This is a nationwide nonprofit that does reviews on various games and movies and tries to give parents at least a rating of what they're getting into if they watch something or look at it. Another resource is something called Protect Young Eyes. This is a group that really wants to keep kids safe. They focus on building, again, that digital trust between a parent and a child, or a child and a caregiver. And how do you, as a parent, know what your kid's doing? How do you keep them safe? How do you keep things out of your home you don't want in your home, whether it's through certain routers or certain parental control apps? And then also learning things about applications, like for example, there's some apps out there when you download them, location services are on automatically. Well, I wouldn't have thought about that. Here's how you turn it off if you don't want your kid to be able to be found by anybody else on Snapchat. Or some apps, when you download them, you can change the child's age so many times, 6 times, 7 times. Why would you want to do that is beyond me, but okay, this resource will let us know, okay, when you set the app up, maybe change the age of your kid 6 times. So that 7th time it changes to the right age so they can't change it anymore. So they can't pretend to be a 20-year-old when they're actually 14 or so forth. There's also a movement out there right now, something called Wait Till 8th Grade to get smartphones or unlimited internet access on devices. And so there's a resource called Gab Wireless, which is a company that is dedicated to helping kids gradually work up to appropriate use of cell phones and technology with a little smartwatch they have that actually is only text and talk capable with a few program numbers in it. No internet capabilities at all. Or another what's called a smartphone and a dumb phone, or sorry, dumb phone and smartphone body, which is, it looks like a smartphone, but it's, again, text and talk only, maybe a few apps such as phones or music, but not capable to do internet at all. So again, your child isn't able to do things that you would want them to, which is appropriate when they're 10 or 12. You know, as they get older, they gradually get more and more freedom, of course, but you know, at times you want them to not be able to eat whatever they want. They have to pick from a certain list of chosen ideas. So those are the big ones. There's other ones out there, of course, but those are the ones that usually I'll talk about and we've used in our home. So.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Yeah, definitely a concern, I think, for a lot of parents, and good to understand, especially like you said, with that digital trust. So it's not all about kind of an authoritarian type of relationship with technology, but just being that partner.
And the goal then is when the kid is older, when they're an adult, they can navigate this system world too now, and not suddenly go from total control, they can do nothing, to suddenly I can do anything I want, but kind of have the tools so that when they are facing stuff on their own, they can also handle it in a way that's appropriate and safe.
Very nice, thank you. Thanks so much for that information. At the end of this video, those resources will be available. Thanks for joining us at Western Wisconsin Health. If you want more information about our organization, you can go to www.health.org.